Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Grounded Manchester United. Got a really good panel on today. Obviously, Danny, devil in the details. Vita, queen of spaces, always on the space, always listening or speaking or doing something. And we have a new face today. His name's Naj. He's a Manchester
Hi.
United fan, of course. Great guy. Oh, sorry, stream on the background. But yeah, great guy. Make sure you give him a follow on Twitter. He's a new face, first time on stream, so big up to him. Um, but yeah, Danny, Vita, how you doing? You guys all good?
Yeah,
Yeah, all good, all good. Looking
doing
forward to the
well,
show.
doing well.
Yeah, me too. So we're going to start off with the big news, which is Paul Pogba to PSG. Big up to everyone in the comments as well, and everyone who's watching. But yeah, Pogba to PSG. I know loads of people have strong views on this one, I would say. Going to start with you, Vita. How do you feel about Pogba to PSG?
In my opinion, in all honesty, I feel like as much as we would love for him to stay, it just hasn't worked out with it. It just hasn't worked out at United. Every team that, in my opinion, we play with Pogba, like if you looked at Pogba at Juventus the way he is now, even though yes, it was a different team, we don't have those players around him. I just don't think Pogba will ever get that free free women. He will never get that role with Bruno here. I just don't think he will get that. He's been basically thrown around in my opinion in the last underneath Ali at least. Mourinho was just Mourinho in that case. But in my opinion, I think it's good for Pogba to leave now, get some money from him, use that money, maybe get a replacement and a CDM, even though Paul Pogba is irreplaceable. But at the moment, I just think Pogba he should just go. Is I as much it will hurt us because he is very fundamental in our team. Him and Bruno work very well together. As much people say they don't, if you look at our team, they do. I just feel like if we don't get a CDM and we don't get like somebody to just basically progress the ball, allow Pogba to at least do what he has to do it best. Why keep him here? Why force him to give more money in another contract if he can go to PSG and maybe have that free roaming role that he had? Because under Ali, when we first had that, he played excellent. That's just my view of it, really.
No, that's true. That's fair enough, because it feels like no matter where Paul Pogba plays in the midfield, he's not consistent. It feels like there's something always missing. And it's gotten to the point for me personally where I've just sort of had enough of it. I love Paul Pogba, the player, but
Yeah,
we every season it's the same. Unlock Paul Pogba, do this and that for Paul Pogba, and it's gotten to the point now where we're not going to do it. So he needs to leave, and we'll try and create another midfield, which will be a little bit more effective and more consistent. And even though it might not be as saucy as some people like to, say, it could still be just as effective. We look at, like, say, for example, Liverpool's midfield. It's not saucy. It's not like,
Yeah.
you know,
it's not the
full of
prettiest
flair.
midfield, but it gets
Yeah,
it gets his work done. It does what it has to
exactly,
do.
exactly. And that's what we haven't had for a long time. We haven't had an effective midfield for a long time. Personally, that's what I think. Anyway, Danny, what did you make of Paul Pogba to PSG?
If I was Paul Pogba, I'd go to PSG because they're knocking on the door winning the Champions League. And ultimately, I think a Champions League means more to Paul Pogba than League One or Premier League, if I'm being honest. So if I was him, I would go. For me, the Paul Pogba story, movie, whatever you want to call it, at Manchester United, it's not going to have a good ending. I just don't think it is. As you said, unless we get a defensive midfielder, he's never
Yeah,
truly going to flourish for a full season from game
Hmm.
one to game 38. It's not going to happen. I was just having this debate on a Twitter space. If you look at the evidence rather than our theories or opinions,
yeah,
at Juventus, he had Vidal and Pirlo. At international level, when he won, because he didn't win this summer, had Matuidi and Kante next to him. The blueprint for
yeah.
him to succeed is obvious. It's obvious. And Manchester United have never, we didn't build around him under Mourinho. And under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, it actually made sense not to build around him because he didn't commit. You can't build a midfield around a player who might want to go. So
True.
it's just people just need to be like mature about it. It's unfortunate. When Paul Pogba came, I thought, yes, this is it. Paul Pogba, Mkhitaryan, we got a goal scorer, Lukaku. This is it. This is it. That's just hasn't turned out that way. It's unfortunate, but yeah, it's Yeah, he has to go. If he
Yeah.
wants, if he wants
Yeah.
to go, just go. And you know what? I've said this. Me and KJ have spoken about this. Paul Pogba leaving might be the blessing in disguise that people don't really see.
See,
If he
agree.
leaves,
I
if
agree.
he leaves, we might get the midfielders we actually need. It's
See,
a shame.
I said that.
It's a shame they won't be next to him, but we need them. Paul Pogba or not, we need a defensive midfielder.
It could be
Yep.
like Liverpool selling Coutinho. They got Alisson and Van Dijk. Boom, they go and win the Champions League, or they just basically sold a player for 2 other positions.
That's
why,
a great example. That's a fantastic example.
That's
Yeah.
why I say, like, because I have like my dad is a Liverpool fan, so he tells me all the time. As much as I love Coutinho, I'm grateful that we sold him because we would have never won a Champions League. We went up for one a Premier League because the team we have, we put the club over the player, and I think that's what we need to start doing as United fans to say we
Fact.
love Paul Pogba the player, but we love Manchester United club that much more.
Yeah, I agree. Naj, what are your views on Paul Pogba to PSG?
Yeah. Well, his contract ends in a year, so it hasn't really worked at United. We've tried multiple midfields. Talented player, has his flaws like every player. Just I don't think he can play in a double pivot. I preferred him on the left lately. I liked him as a 10 as well when we used him there. But it just doesn't work, so I don't know. With 1 year left on his contract, I think we need to sell him. I don't know if he wants to go to PSG though, because that's a bit weird for me. I know it's a bit like he's retiring, like pre-retiring, like you know what I mean? Like you get United there building a team with youth and everything for the future, and he's still young, like 28. He's still got like 5 years left in him. So I don't know, man. I think it's PSG Ligue 1, a bit of a dead league. Just going for the Champions League, I guess, like Danny said, but it's a bit of a weird choice for me for him to go there. If I was him, like I'd stay at United. But
You're a Man United fan.
yeah, but you have to take into consideration it doesn't work. It doesn't work at United. We've tried multiple things, and we have to sell.
Yeah, I agree with all of your points.
Yeah.
All of them.
With 1 year left, it's business as well. Like we have to sell it.
Yeah,
Get
I
a bit
agree.
of money, then we have to reinvest as well. If we don't reinvest, then what's the point?
I think this is the worry, isn't it? Because if we sell Paul Pogba and we don't replace him, not obviously like for like, because you can't like for like replace him, but if we don't bring in a DM or just anyone remotely useful in the midfield, I think we'll be in trouble anyway. So this is the problem. It's not so much selling Paul Pogba that's the problem. It's who we buy with Paul Pogba's money. And if we don't buy anyone, then we're in quite a bit of trouble, in my opinion.
You know what, Rachel? I'm going to contradict myself here. Think about it. If Paul Pogba goes, we don't actually need a DM, like a destructive, a defensive, a strong tackling DM, really and truly. See, the problem with Paul Pogba, like he's like a hybrid. Is he a central midfielder? Is he not? Blah blah blah. He needs a defensive midfielder.
I don't know.
Move Paul Pogba out of the equation. So, for example, Ruben Neves next to Fred is decent. Is good for 4-2-3-1.
Oh, you mean we could play like a Regista rather than an out-and-out defensive midfielder?
So I was saying this on the space. Like, forget my opinion. The facts are, look at every team that's won with 4-2-3-1. Jose Mourinho's Real Madrid team, 4-2-3-1. Who are the holding players? Xabi Alonso and Sami Khedira. Bayern 2015 or 14, whenever they won the Champions League. Who were the holding players? Javier Martinez and Bastian Schweinsteiger.
Yeah.
Their modern team, Thiago and Kimmich. Thiago, who's a holding playmaker, or Goretzka. Rafa Benitez of Liverpool. Javier Mascherano, Xabi Alonso again.
Yeah.
Like, the template's clear. The template is clear. If you have, say, a technical holding midfielder like a Neves, who I think is slightly overrated, by the way, then you can have a box-to-box next to him. So Neves and Scott McTominay make sense. I prefer better quality. I prefer Neves and Van der Beek, but I'm just, you catch my drift.
Yeah, no, I hear that. Welcome, Bryant.
Hey, how's everyone?
Hi, right.
Good.
What's going on, Pastor Fred?
Actually, you've come just in time, Bryant, because there's a question from Shivam here. This is why does everyone want to remove Bruno and Rashford from our team? Sorry for getting to this question late because everyone had their views on Pogba, but we're getting to it now. Brian, can you answer this question?
Why does everyone want to remove Bruno and Rashford from our team? Well, I think it's because I think it's because they can frustrate at times because they're moments players. But here's a reality. You need those players in the team. Remember when we were at a point in our kind of journey as a club post Ferguson when we had no moments players, where we knew, we knew. I mean, we drew the game, but we were drawing, had about half an hour to go, and we knew we weren't going to score another goal. You know what I mean? Like Rashford has developed into the type of player who just, and no player's perfect, right? Bruno's not perfect. Rashford's not perfect, but Rashford and Bruno are some of like the coldest players in our team. Like they'll try to go and get the game, and they've got the ability and the quality to do it. Now with that comes frustrations when it doesn't work, when they always try to do the same things to try to go and get the goal or get the assist or create the chance. And I think that the value that people place on neat, tidy footballers that keep that look pleasing on the eye and keep the ball and all these different things, we're overrating that too much, and and as a result we're devaluing other types of players. Like Cristiano Ronaldo, like is a big time moments player. He's not like the best decision maker all the time, but if you've got somebody bearing down on goal in the 6-yard box, there's probably few players in the world that you want on the end of a cross than him. You know what I mean? Like there's probably fewer players in the world that you would back to score. And I think in Manchester United's team, Bruno and Rashford can have horrible games. They can have a bad 88 minutes, but if they score or assist in the 89th or 90th, like while it's still frustrating overall performance-wise, goals and assists are the things that are going to win games. So you have to find value in what all players bring instead of pushing. I don't even want to necessarily say agendas, but instead of pushing your ideal footballer or your ideal, like, this is what I like to see over, reality. They're not going anywhere. They're two of our best players. So you might as well just get over it and back the players regardless. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I was saying today, actually, that a lot of people, it's not about rating Bruno and Rashford as footballers over, say, the likes of Pogba and Martial, but that's usually the two comparisons, right? It's about how effective they are over the course of the season. So even if Martial has that one game, like against Manchester City, where he plays well, he holds up the play well, he does a lot of great link-up play, how often did he do that in the season? And how many times did he win us games or get us to that point where we get the points needed to progress? And I felt like it was too little. I mean, I think he only got 6 goals or something ridiculous like that. It was a horrendous season for Martial.
4 goals.
4 goals then. 4 goals.
Yeah, and that's the thing. If I'm not like, I mean, some people, they memorize stats. Like, that's what they do with their days. I'm not that guy. But, like, if I remember correctly, Bruno Fernandes and Marcus Rashford had the most goal contributions in the team last season in all competitions. Why would you not want those people in the side?
They're not take them out
enough. If you take them out of the side, you lose goals.
People would rather do technical players over reliability, and that's the biggest problem, because if you have just a bunch of technical players in your team, what is his system that makes him work? When you basically, I'm not trying to say Ali doesn't have a system, because he has a system, but that's another topic. But when you tell Rashford and Bruno, look, I need to throw you on, I like to ask people, you put Martial or Rashford on in an 87-minute game to tell him to go, and people say Rashford. I say, why? They go, because he'll get us a goal. I said, okay, but when you bring up the argument, Martial needs to play over Rashford, you're looking at technique over reliability. As much as we love Martial, can he? And people do bring it up. Is he going to give you season after season numbers? No, he's not, and it's been proven throughout his time at United.
Yeah. Martial's not even Martial's not even a 10-goal a season striker, and that's not good enough for Manchester United. Like this season, in my opinion, forget his ability. If he doesn't hit double digits this season in the Premier League, he's got to go. I'm done. I'm done watching. I'm done having you score double digits and then single digits and then double digits and then single digits. Like 17 goals and then 6. I'm sick of it. Like, forget your ability. Like, if you're not reliable when we put you on the field, regardless, and Martial may be better out left, but he's been wasteful there too. So, like, if you're not going to produce for the side, you need to find somewhere else to go and play, because it can't be here. We can't. I'm tired of seeing players in the team who are taking up space and making money by doing nothing and adding nothing to what we're trying to do as a club. I've been watching it for years. I'm sick of it.
Brian, so even if he has a good season, we should sell him anyway.
Yeah, he can go.
Why does he have to retire at Manchester United? Are you a Man United fan or a Martial fan? You know, the same people. He's a striker. Cavani comes, show you what a real striker looks like.
Cavani's a striker.
He's a false 9. He's a false 9.
Put him back on the left. It's like, what? Be consistent. You wanted him as a striker. Cavani comes and bottles it. At this point, we've had a large sample size, right? 3 managers, same player, inconsistent.
Yep.
He's never going to put 3 seasons together. Yeah.
It's a Martial thing. It's a Martial thing. He doesn't have the mentality to play at the top level for Manchester United. He doesn't back himself enough, and you can see it in the space when he's not playing well.
Right. Do you know what it is? It's just simple. You know what it is? He just has low determination. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, I agree.
Do you know what sums up Martial for me? I can't remember who it was we were playing against, but I remember Daniel James, and we all know how fast Daniel James is with the ball, right? So he was running on the right side, and Martial was around the halfway line. Daniel James got into the box, and Martial was about halfway between the box and the halfway line. He was jogging to the box. And that tells me he's not a striker, because any striker would have gone straight towards that front post, made that front post run. Daniel James would have hit it across the goal, and he would have tried to, excuse my dog, sorry. But yeah, Daniel James would have crossed it in, and Martial would have scored, or at least got a shot on target or something. That tells me a lot about Martial as a striker. And Indiana said it from day dot about him.
Yeah, meaning we speak about all the time. Like, just watch when the ball goes into the box, he plays aggressively. He's just not that. Yeah. He's just
He's that link man, isn't he? Like, he does that well. He links up play, but he needs to score more. Right?
And the Pogba thing, by the way, they're just mad because Bruno's doing what Pogba should have done. That's the truth.
Yep. Yeah. Well,
Pogba should be a guy with that output, not Bruno.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, and I think that's one of the things that, and again, I blame these types of things on the recruiting of Manchester United over the years, because in addition to knowing what the player gives you, when in terms of production, you also need to know what like situations you need to put that player in to get the best out of them. So if Martial is a luxury player, you need to know that before you buy him, instead of figuring that out a couple of seasons in. There's too much, and that's at any level. Forget, nonetheless, the level of what Manchester United are trying to achieve and the types of teams that they're playing against. Like, if you know Pogba is a player that you need to put certain pieces around and get the best out of him, then you need to do that to ensure that he's going to be worth the money. Same thing for somebody like Martial. Like, you've got to be able to produce and put together a side that you're going to get the best out of all your players. Like, I'm fine with Martial being a part of the team, but I know that he's a luxury player, and if he doesn't have the right players around him, he's gonna be bad. And that's not and I don't blame Martial for that as much as I do for the board and the poor structure around signings over the past few seasons, which I think is improving some under Ali. Like, the types of players that we're bringing in now are players that I see that are like, okay, like, this player's got a little bit of something about them, opposed to we need to put them in a situation or in a system where they're going to be able to do bare minimum, which is not good enough.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. We did go a bit off topic. Thank you for the question, Shivam. But yeah, we're going to move on from Paul Pogba and Martial. We are going to speak about our right-hand side. We have been linked with Kieran Trippier for quite some time now. Apparently, it's actually quite close. And obviously, he'll be competing with AWB. So I want to go around with everyone, just tell me what you think of AWB as a right back. Just rate him out of 10 for me. A couple of things you like, a couple of things you don't like. I want to sort of get everyone's sort of view on AWB as a right back. Some of you know my views on him, but I want to know yours. So, Naj, you go first. What do you make of AWB as right back?
So, what I can say about AWB is when he first called me, he really surprised me. Like, defending was very good. On the ground, he was very good. Then we started to see a little bit of weakness. That's normal in his game. And plays a lot of games, AWB. He's still a young player. I think he plays too much. Ollie should have maybe took him a bit out last season, put Brandon Williams for a couple of games, because his concentration levels is. The more you play, the more you'll get exposed to. That's what happens when you're a young player. But I've got faith in AWB. I think he's a good player. I think he's got a bit of room to improve, and I don't think Trippier is going to come in and take his place like that. I don't think it's going to happen like that. I think we're going to see a reaction from AWB, and that's what we need. That's what we need in all our teams. So I got faith in him. I know you haven't, but I back him. I'll give him a 7 out of 10.
No, that's fair. Some good points there. Vita, what do you make of AWB?
His positional sense for me is probably the only thing that lets him down, because he gets caught on the ball so much, and I can't handle it in the game when they attack down the right hand side. But then I look at it and I say our right hand side is also imbalanced a lot, and the players who we have on the right hand side, from time to time, sometimes they don't like to track back. He doesn't have that link up play. For me, I don't think he's as bad as everyone presumes him to be. His defending acts, in my opinion, other than him getting caught up the ball from time to time, or most times, I think he can grow into a very, very good defender. However, when you look at the modern day right back, you have to say, are they good defensively as well as they good going forward? In my opinion, Aaron Wan-Bissaka's link up, his crossing, it needs a lot of improvement. Now, do I say if he got let's say a Sancho up front and he improves there? He might. We don't know. But going off of what we've seen when he's probably had a Greenwood in front of him for, let's say, majority of the season, it hasn't been what we thought it would be. I'd say you bring in another defender, a right back, Trippier in this case, pull him on the side, you will see a more well-rounded fullback. I feel like Aaron Wan-Bissaka in due time will become that right back with the right coaching. But looking at him now, I will say it's good to bring in another right back, maybe help him go up forward, because other than that, I don't think he's as bad. I'll give him a 6, because the modern day fullback, you have to go forward as well as you can go back.
No, that's fair enough. Good points again. I'm going to say Danny for last, because I just feel like it, actually. Brian, what do you think of AWB?
I actually really like AWB. But I think for me, I'm okay with like weaknesses of players don't scare me, and I feel like in today's modern day of looking at the game, especially in terms of football Twitter, players can't have weaknesses, otherwise they're garbage. And so for me, like, Aaron Wan-Bissaka is one of those signings where I think that a better center back partner on that right side makes him a better defender. Somebody who can come. Everything all around the field is all about partnerships, and so you're only going to be as good as the players beside you and in front of you. And like Vita said, when the players in front of you don't track back and protect you a little bit, you're going to get exposed a little bit more. When the player beside you is, putting it very lightly, super suspect in the air, it's going to make what you do in the air, where you stand, how you jump, how you attack the ball, that much, there's going to be more pressure on you, because they're going to let you down. So Aaron Wan-Bissaka, we know why we signed him. We signed him because he's athletic, He's a great tackler in the in the 1v1. And he's young, and he has room to grow into what we're building in the team. And for me, I look at those as primaries, and he can learn the other things. He can get better positionally. He can get better aerially, especially if he has people around him who are going to improve him. And by the way, if Trippier is a player that comes in, we've seen what competition has done for our other players in the team. Competition has elevated the likes of Luke Shaw. Like, competition has elevated a lot of our other players. So I think for me, Trippier coming in can only help improve him. But as far as Aaron Wan-Bissaka on his own, I rate him as an 8 out of 10. I think that if he has somebody in front of him who can improve him going forward, put him in better positions, help him look for those overlaps and underlaps more. But if he only works well on overlaps, then put somebody in front of him who can get the best out of him. And I mean, you can get better at crossing. Just freaking work on it. You know what I mean? Like, just work on it. And I think that over time we'll see him really blossom into a really top quality right back. I think he's already really good, better than what we've seen in the past. That's for sure. We remember when we used to play AJ Valencia and Ashley Young there. So he's not them. You know what I mean? So he has room and time to grow. And so, but I rate him highly.
No, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. Good points as well.
Can I go
Danny?
now?
Yeah, I can feel your impatience. I can feel it. Go on, Danny.
I've never disagreed with Brian. I think it's the only thing. Like, 8 out of 10. Are you insane? Like, if he's 8 out of 10, and he's got time and room to improve, he's going to be World Class.
He is.
Okay. I'm a great
Forever an optimist, Brian.
I am.
Best.
I love
I
it.
respect it.
At best, he's 7 out of 10.
I'll take that. That's fine.
And that's because of his one-on-one defending.
Mm-hmm.
But that one-on-one defending is very situational.
Mm-hmm.
There are 50 games in the season. Not every game is the same. Not every game is somebody running at you. He's lucky he doesn't play in the 90s because he'd be even more fucked in the air. Like, his fundamentals, I don't think you understand, Brian. He can't track a ball in the air. When he looks in the air, he loses the ball.
Yeah, that's true.
That's a chronic problem.
Buy some glasses.
No, Brian, it's a problem because he played as a winger his entire youth career and nobody taught him how to track a ball in the air. His timing of a jump, even a basic jump, he can't even time his jumps properly. What next? His marking, set pieces, terrible. Go watch our that we can see. He's usually, him and McTominay's a culprit as well, are tasked with protecting Maguire's zone. They lose their man often, all the time. So his marking is terrible. His positioning suspect. He can't time a leap. His heading's average. And now let's get onto the attacking side of the game. Rachel, remember we did that stream? Oh, was it you, Rachel? Basically, I've got this photo. It was the Crystal Palace game, right? When we drew 0-0. And I remember Saka. He's on the right-hand side. He's got McTominay. He's got Daniel James there. He's got a simple pass to play. And you know what he does? He passes it to the opposition player. Literally, like it was his own teammate. Here you go, mate. Take the ball. His fundamentals going forward are terrible. 5 out of 10. 5 out of 10. His passing, inconsistent. Crossing, don't get me started. He's going to turn into Valencia, smashing hope.
Valencia.
I'm sorry I'm laughing. It's just that me and Naj had this conversation literally an hour ago.
People talk about freestyle football. He's a freestyle dribbler. No idea.
The Wamba shuffle.
Yeah.
He doesn't know where the ball's going to go. He just follows it. He's Spider-Man. He can just follow the ball. He's lucky. Yeah, exactly. The Wamba shuffle.
Big up Indy. Yeah.
I'll be honest with you. I would be happy if we get Trippier and Wan-Bissaka just improves on those defensive things. Position yourself better, time to jump better, don't get caught up with diagonal balls. Going forward, I'm telling you now, he's not going to improve a lot. But I just haven't seen a player his age, where he's starting from, make huge leaps and become even serviceable going forward. So, yeah, at best, Brian, 7 out of 10. Sorry.
You know what
I
the
don't know,
thing is
man.
with AWB though? I think
Go
his
ahead.
positioning and his awareness can improve because that's something that defenders actually get better with time. But as Danny said, I agree. I don't think attacking wise he's going to be great, and I don't think he's going to play as a centre back or anything like that. I don't see anything that even remotely makes sense with that. Even though I think there were rumours of a right centre back position for him, which I was dreading. If that was the case, I was dreading it. But
Do you know how bad he is, right? Going forward, right?
Then,
And you know me, Rachel, I pay attention to things, right? So, do you know what the coaches have done for him? Basically, when he gets into a decent position, he does this cutback just in front of the penalty spot. And that's all he's developed. Aaron Wan-Bissaka, when you get there, Ollie's told him, just cut it back to the penalty spot. That's the only, you can't whip it, you can't chip it, you can't float it. Just cut it back to the penalty spot.
his numbers are getting better though, isn't it? No,
Yeah, because of that. Well, listen, I saw him
he
kick the
improved
ball,
a bit.
but I saw him kick the ball into Greenwood's face once.
I remember
Daddy,
that. And you know what, Danny, that's Greenwood's fault. You should see that coming.
Please.
You should see that coming.
But
Like,
you know what,
don't-
Nudge, guess what? That's a cross completed. So yeah, it's not
Yeah.
It is, yeah. You know,
Cavani heads it, bro.
that's the thing. It's like, see, for me, I think about, and I completely see where you're coming from, and I agree with a lot of what you're saying. I think that he will get better defensively and for me, primarily as a right back. I care more about what you do defensively than what you do offensively. But as Manchester United, we know that in 90% of the games we play, we're going to have the ball. And so what he does going forward is going to matter more than it would if he was playing for Crystal Palace, right? He can get away with it. So for me, I think having a player like Trippier, I think of teams holistically in a lot of ways. Having a player like Trippier to play in games that we would play against like a Brentford or Crystal Palace or insert team here, games you expect to win is Manchester United. Relieves him of having to be something that he's not in those ways. It's like if we know we're gonna have the ball a whole lot more and we need somebody a bit more technical who's got a better whip on them, play Trippier instead of Wan-Bissaka. Because you're going to hold the ball for the majority of the game. You know what I mean? So I think holistically in that way. So that's why I'm a bit more optimistic about Wan-Bissaka, because in the moments when we need him, we need to defend. We need to stick in a little bit more. I believe in him in those moments. Going forward, he lacks. But if we get somebody who can take him out of the firing line in those ways, then I'm fine with that.
But Brian, Sancho.
Not everybody can be a complete player.
Yeah, no one is.
No.
But you know what it is, Brian? It's going forward on a scale of 1 to 10. He's like 5 out of 10 in a lot of do you know what I want going forward? Just don't give the ball away.
Yeah,
The basic
I agree with
passes
you.
you have to make, just make them.
But you said 7 out of 10 at best, 5 out of 10 going forward, 12 out of 10. You rated him higher than me.
But that would be 12 out of 20.
12 out of 20.
12 out of 20.
Yeah. No. Both are out of 10. Both are out of 10. The denominator's out of 10. The denominator's out of 10. We know we don't change that, all right?
So, to Indiana's point, Dalot stays if we don't get Trippier. That's what I think is going to happen.
Yeah. I like Dalot, by the way. I want to see him play more.
I'm not a big fan of him.
He was terrible against us in the Europa League. He was terrible.
I haven't seen enough to even judge him, to be fair. So I'm not. I wouldn't. Yeah, I don't know. I've had contrasting reports about him. Some people said he played well, and some people said he wasn't that great.
So for some reason, they didn't play him in Serie A at all. Honestly, they didn't play him at all.
Yeah, he doesn't play much.
But he was the Europa League player.
Yeah.
But they're injured. Yeah.
Like literally, I think he played like 8 games in the Europa League, and in Serie A, I might check it on my phone actually. I don't think he started more than 12 games.
No, he doesn't play much.
He didn't actually play that often, to be fair.
No.
Yeah, see, I don't know. This is Serie A as well.
Can I say one more thing for AWB?
Yeah,
It's
sure.
like it looks like he's a bit all over the place. You know, he looks like he's got that in the back of his head. Like, I need to do much better going forward. So he's trying too much, and he forgets. Sometimes he gets caught out, and he needs to go back to basics, defend, win your ball, give it give it back and go. Just do the simple things, and you'll get better.
Hmm.
No,
Yeah.
that's true. No. It's like Danny said before, he couldn't do basic passes.
He can.
So
Come on. He can.
no, but you know what I'm trying to say. He doesn't do it often. He is inconsistent. My issue with AWB is more in the second,
I think
second,
because
third.
he's
Anyway,
inconsistent. I think he's inconsistent because he plays too many games. I really
you
do.
reckon?
Yeah,
The thing is,
Yeah.
I think is a lot of our players played too many games
Too
last
many
season.
games.
I mean, it was
Bruno.
horrendous what was going on.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Maguire,
maybe this
Bruno,
season he'll be a
Rashford.
bit better. But I don't think he's going to improve that much, personally.
I hear that. Yeah.
But yeah, Trippier is going to be an interesting one.
Yeah.
I didn't watch him much for Atletico Madrid, but he does give you a different option in terms of his crossing ability is very good. He's much more attack minded, and he has gotten used to playing in a defensive system. Remember, because Simeone is
Back five. Loves a back
he's a
five.
terrorist basically. To be honest.
Oh, stop.
No, but he is though. Like he's that guy that will just shithouse his way to a win. Doesn't by any means necessary.
He
It's not
does.
pretty to look at,
Yeah.
but it's effective more often than not. That's Simeone for you. So Kieran Trippier is used to that sort of system as well. So he's got a different sort of edge to his game by just being there, because Tottenham never did that under Poch.
Yeah.
So it should be interesting to see how he comes back to the Premier League with that sort of experience as well, having won La Liga last season. So he's actually a winner now. Yeah, it will be interesting.
For sure.
But there is something I want to speak about actually regarding Jadon Sancho. This right wing versus left wing thing is driving me insane. It really is.
Yeah.
There's this myth now that apparently Jadon Sancho can't play on the right wing, even though for 2.5 seasons at Dortmund, that's what he
on the
basically
right.
played. Yeah.
Yep.
And because he hasn't played there as often in the last 6 months, now he's just incapable of playing there.
Yeah.
People don't
But-
realize he could play from both wings, and I think that's what most people don't understand. If you look at Dortmund's system, they like United. They like to rotate their front a lot. So you will see him on the left, you will see him on the right. Sometimes, for the rare occasion, you will see him drop in as a 10. It's just he's more of a winger. He is played better on the left, but on the right, he is probably just the same. Maybe obviously a little slightly differentiated too, but he's a winger. He's just a winger at this point. He can play left, right. You want to drop him anywhere, fine. By all means, and United, he will play on the right wing for obvious reasons. I think that's what people need to understand. If you look at his gameplay through Dortmund, I'm a Dortmund fan, so I watch a lot of Dortmund. He can play on the right, and a lot of people don't realize that. Then when you say, "Oh, can he play on the left?" He can play on the left. It's just Dortmund like to rotate a lot, and throughout the season, he had to play games on the left as well as on the right. That's just it.
Well, we also live in an era of modern day football where we live in the world of inverted wingers and inverted forwards now, right? So, like, if you're a right-footed player and you play on the right side, you're more likely to get assists, and if you play on the left side, you're more likely to get goals, right? And so Dortmund would probably move him to the left more when they move him to the left more, it would probably up his goal production because he's in a position where he's able to cut in and shoot on his stronger side. But one of the things that I love that we're getting, Sancho is a player that in him we're getting something that we don't have in the team, and it's a player. He's like a wide playmaker. We've got so many inverted players and quote unquote wingers, like somebody who actually sits in spaces, draws players to them, and then is able to actually open up space for other players to occupy and then find them, is something that we do not have in that Manchester United team. So he's going to bring a dimension to our attack that we have lacked.
And can I add something else to your point as well?
Yeah, go for it.
His footballing IQ on the right hand side is excellent as well. His way to pass, the way how he can just pick up, it is something that you do not see from a lot of up and coming players nowadays. You do not see that. His footballing IQ, the way to pass, if we play the correct system, I feel like our attack could be very, very, very deadly this season. If we play the right combination attack, which we'll probably get into that soon. But I just want to add that point. His football IQ with a pass is also excellent as well. You can continue.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, thanks, Vito. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
So, like, I feel like Jadon Sancho is the type of player coming into the team that I legitimately believe, and I don't want to put too much pressure on him. Again, I think about teams holistically. How is your team built as a squad opposed to individuals? But I think Jadon Sancho could legitimately be a 7 out of 10 player every week for Manchester United. Like bang on consistent every week. And that, for me, takes so much pressure off of other players to be able to have somebody that you can rely on, that when they get in a certain position and they have the ball at their feet, they're gonna make either a decision that takes the team forward, or they're gonna make a decision that maintains what's already happening. They're either going to help create a chance or they're gonna help us keep the ball. But you never, like, there's so many players in the team that when they get in certain positions, I'm like, if we lose the ball, we're going to get scored on. Like, it's like if they lose the ball, we're going to get scored on. Or I have no faith in them being able to play the ball in a way to a player that doesn't take all the steam out of an attack. But I believe that Jadon Sancho will be able to do the basics so well that anything above and beyond that will elevate the team. So I'm really excited about that, because we have way too many players that are moments players, that in certain moments they are brilliant, but oftentimes they're frustrating.
No, that's fair.
Well, just to warn you, Brian, Sancho gives the ball away a lot. A lot.
25
But
pounds.
like Bruno and Rashford, when he gets it right, it's a goal or a chance.
He's not the prettiest player that people think he is. He's not the prettiest player.
Do you know what's weird about him, Brian? So he's not efficient in the way you'd think. So dribbling wise, he's not efficient. Like his dribble success rate's below 50% on both flanks. But where he's efficient is in like high leverage moments, Brian. So like his through pass success rate, insane. Key pass success rate, insane. Progressive pass success rate, better than all of our attackers. Better than Bruno, better than Pogba, Rashford, Greenwood, United. He's so efficient as a passer. He's basically an attacking midfielder that turned into a winger. And that's what he does from the wing. He plays like an attacking midfielder from the wing. The vision, the passing. I can't wait to see him play.
Honestly.
Yeah, I'm excited about him. And me and Aaron Wan-Bissaka, 12 out of 10. Right side deadly.
Oh, one more thing that we should know, right? When you watch Sancho for Dortmund, he never stays on one side of the pitch. He moves a lot. And every time he moves, he makes an impact. Like I've seen him be on the left wing, go into the 10 position, get the ball, make something happen instantly. Then move to the right, make something happen. I don't think people realize, like, we've got a player. We've got
a gem on our hands, and most people don't realize just how good this guy is.
Yeah, I mean, I think people are playing it down because Man United have him. That's all it is. A lot of our rival fans, especially the Chelsea fans, are saying Sancho should be left wing only, not right wing, which is so amusing to me. He'll go where he pleases.
I think he'll work in our system as well, because we already have our forwards already move around that like area anyway. So I just feel like next, I'm telling you, I'm ready to see this attack next season. I'm ready.
Yeah, and I also saw some things floating around Twitter. Honestly, I just need to get off of football Twitter sometimes. It's hilarious. But it's like I've seen a handful of Arsenal fans say things like, if Pepe has a better season than Sancho next season, Sancho's garbage. And I'm like, only Arsenal players would need to compare their players to other teams' players to find value in them. I don't do that as a Manchester United fan. I only care about what you do for my team, not what you do in comparison to what somebody else is doing for their team. Like, I couldn't care less how Pepe does or doesn't do. I don't care. Like, I don't care. I only care about how Jadon Sancho performs for Manchester United. And I feel like only fans of a team with such a small mentality have to find value by putting other players down. I don't do that. Like, I don't care what your players do or don't do. I only care about how my players do for my team, and that's it.
No offense, but it's embarrassing that they'd even compare him to Pepe because how long has he been at Arsenal for now? And I've seen him have like 3, 4, maybe 5 good moments. He
No,
hasn't
he
turned up.
literally
Yeah.
he will have 8 good games a season and score and assist in those games. That's Pepe. So his numbers look okay, but for 30 games of the season, he's trash.
Well,
Brian, you haven't got to
Yeah.
worry because he's shit.
well,
Sorry,
it's
boy.
Oh, I'm
ironic
not.
though,
I'm
since
not.
I'm
Yeah.
I'm not worried. Even if Pepe was world class, I wouldn't care.
Biggest flop in Premier League history.
No.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely not Fred because he's a great man.
Yeah.
It's ironic his celebration is the looking one because we look for him every season, but that's another story for another
You know what,
day.
Danny's got a point with his price tag, man. That's a flop.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. It's hilarious, but it's also unfortunate.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
big up Prime.
Jeez, no, they had an inquiry about the transfer. That's how bad it is. An internal review.
They're like,
Did they
hey,
actually?
yeah.
Like, how did we pay £70 million for this championship player? How did it happen? Someone
Well, Arsenal Football Club, that's what happened.
Facts. Prime says United are dark horses for the Premier League next season, and there was
You
a
know what?
question from Ravi who said, "Can Oli take United to a Champions League?"
So the
So
group stages,
yeah.
yes, he can. He's done it. Nah,
all right, so providing we get the signings would be Varane, Trippier, Sancho. I don't think we're getting a DM if I'm honest with you, but
I've
say we got
seen-
DM as well. What do
I've
we think
seen-
we can achieve?
I've seen if we sell, we might get a DM. So
yeah,
I've seen
only
that.
if we sell.
Maybe.
If we sell Lingard, I think we'll get a DM, but it doesn't look like we are.
Yeah.
Lingard. I was thinking if we sold Pogba,
Pogba.
maybe we'd get one, but not Lingard. I don't think we'd be looking to get one. I haven't seen any links with one, but I just think it's just my luck, maybe.
And to be honest, the players we've been linked with, aside from Rice, they don't move the needle at all for me. Like even Camavinga, for the future, great, but for next season,
No.
Yeah,
and on top of that as well, he's left-footed. I was thinking about this. Matic, like 3 left-footers in your midfield. That makes no sense to me.
I didn't
no
know he was left-footed.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
on further reflection, I was like, actually, this transfer doesn't actually make any sense unless Matic leaves. You can't have 3 left-footed midfielders. You just can't do
Oh,
it.
we see what happened when we played Matic and Fred together.
Yeah,
It's
it's like-
one of the worst combinations you'll ever
Yeah.
see.
People don't think about
Ever.
it.
The worst.
You don't
The
play two
worst.
left-footed- you
I
don't
think
play
Messi
two left-footed
out
centre
by
backs, do you?
Nope.
Yeah, exactly. You don't.
So you wouldn't
Nope.
do it in midfield. Sure, I can't believe what he did that.
Yeah. Yeah, Matic Fred. I think our worst games were Matic Fred games. Literally the worst. It was the Crystal Palace game was Matic Fred. I feel like the first
Nah, I would
60,
say
70 minutes horrendous.
Pogba McTominay is also up there as well. Pogba McTominay, that combination, it makes me cry. It makes me cry.
The reason why I disagree with that is because prior to Pogba getting injured in that Everton game when we were 3-0 up, it was a Pogba McTominay pivot, and they actually played quite well together. And McTominay's actually improved with his positioning and his discipline when he plays in that position. And
He's improved on the ball as well.
yeah, but that's what I'm saying. He has improved, and I think he's gotten a lot better in that role. And there's a reason why Oli. I remember against Liverpool, we lost 4-2 at Old Trafford. There's a reason why he took off Fred and left McTominay on the pitch, even though everyone wanted Fred on, because McTominay will sit so that Pogba can go back into the midfield,
Right,
and
right,
it means that Pogba can push forward. If Pogba plays there, we'll say Fred. Pogba has to sit a bit more because Fred likes to press high up. So I think McTominay Pogba isn't actually that. It's not the best, but it's not as bad as other.
Matic Fred, no. So,
Yeah.
not, but it's definitely for me. I just don't
So,
like
so
that.
Rach, McFred is the best, yeah?
I will remove you. I will. Naz, what are you making of just
Sancho?
not just Sancho, but in terms of
Oh, well,
Prime's
yeah.
comment, Man United dark horses for the Premier League?
Dark horses, I think he's taking the piss a bit, Mel.
We have to get Varane and Trippier for that to be the case.
If we get them, we're not dark horses. Dark horses is Leicester or someone.
But you know what? I kind of agree. I kind of agree with Prime with dark horses because most people they look at United's team because I'm in a lot of spaces, and a lot of rival fans go, your team on paper is really good, but then
In
I look at the
FIFA it is, yeah.
manager, and they go, oh, I look at the manager and go, oh, I'm not okay because I know Ali isn't necessarily like world class manager that knows how to run that squad. I feel like you got these. I'm not saying United are dark horses before. Like, if you get a good enough squad that Ali trusts, I feel like next season we could do maybe not a lot, but we could do something with that team. In my opinion,
I think we're not favorites, but City and Chelsea, we're in that mix. City with Chelsea. I don't think we're underdogs or anything. I think we're not favorites, but we're not like.
But but I would say people are not phased. Like, oh, you getting Varane, Sancho, Trippier. Like, okay, but you're still gonna play pragmatic football. You're not gonna play that attacking football. Your midfield with McFred. It's not gonna last next season. And that's where the underdog kind of situation comes through, because us we'll look at it and be like, oh no, look at our like team, like we know what we can do. Like, I'm not gonna sit back and be like, oh no, United, they have all these players. They're not gonna do that. They're gonna be like, oh, you got Ali. Oh, it's all right. You're gonna sit back anyways. Like, you play Chelsea, you're gonna sit back. Let me play Burnley. You're not gonna move as much. You're not gonna move the ball as much as they think we're gonna play. And we go out and we go win something. It's like, oh. And then us fans is like, we expected that, and everyone's like, no, you wasn't. That's where I said from.
Yeah.
Do you know what the irony is of the whole Chelsea game? Is that Chelsea played deeper than we did when we played against them. We actually played the higher line, but for some reason, people think that we were pragmatic in both games, especially the one at Stamford Bridge when they started Giroud, and that meant that we could push up the pitch. We started higher up the pitch. We ended the game higher up the pitch, even when they brought on Timo Werner, who was ineffective because he came on too late. Too cool mistake that they won't speak about, but it is what it is. But at the end of the day, when we're a lot less pragmatic than what we were the season before, we're actually trying to play. And yes, we do make mistakes. And yes, when Bruno gets man-marked, there's a bit of an issue because other players don't seem to step up in those scenarios. But we're playing a lot less defensive than people were giving us credit for. And it's really annoying.
Oli with LVG and Mourinho, I'm like, football just skim through it. Like, what are you talking about?
Danny, I've said that so many times.
They don't even skim through it. They just copy what someone else says.
I've said that so many times. Ollie's football is probably the most attacking football we've had in the last 2 to 3 managers. Why we not necessarily understand why we complain, but
people don't even realize. You realize, like, Rashford and Greenwood, they're told don't track back all the time.
Yeah.
Just so we can counter. Like, come on, man.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't like that. I don't like the cheat code thing.
It's risk versus reward. That's what it is.
No, but do you know what the thing is? How many times have we conceded where AWB tucks in and our inside forward hasn't tracked back because they're told not to, and there's a massive gap for that winger? Because that's part of how we defend, right? That's also how Dortmund defend. And I've watched, even though no, I understand it, but the thing is, would you rather? I don't like being reactive. Basically, I don't like having to rely on the opposition not scoring for us to get a chance to score. I want us to intercept that situation and then work our way towards the opposition goal. I don't like the idea of, I mean, the Brighton game, even though it was early in the season, it sort of set the tone for a lot of things that happened throughout the season, especially at the back post, always on the same side.
But most teams aren't willing to commit the bodies to really hurt us. That's why we do it. Like, some teams will, but most teams, if it's like, how often do we get outnumbered, really, Rachel? Really think, how often do we get outnumbered? Not often.
What, at the back post?
How often do we get penetrated through the middle?
No, we don't get penetrated through the middle.
It's very simple. Hit us out wide. If you do, fair play to you. Fair play. But if not, you're not scoring. That's basically, it's just calculated. Like, there's no system that doesn't have some kind of risk defensively. And our risk is, our forwards just stay up so we can, in transition, just go back up the end of the pitch and bloody score.
Yeah.
And you guys don't think McFred are here as well to, like we said, Greenwood and Rashford don't track back, and McFred and McTominay and Fred are here to do the tracking back job on the
and McTominay needs to do his job better.
The benefit of the 4-2-3-1 is that you've got that base of 4 players behind the ball.
Yeah.
And you've got 2 fullbacks pushed up, 2 forwards coming inside, a striker and an attacking midfielder. You've got plenty of bodies ahead of the ball, but you've still got that So basically, you can match the opposition up front, and you won't be outnumbered defensively. That's the whole point of that formation. That's why it came into when did Germany win the World Cup or the Euros in 2000 and was it 10 or 12 with Germany?
2010.
Yeah, 2010.
I remember like 4-2-3-1 wasn't played in the Premier League back then. It's after Germany did it. You know, in English, it's English football. We copy everybody.
Yeah.
Right. So in 2010, Roy Hodgson was the only manager at the time who played 4-2-3-1. Then the wave came, and I remember people were discussing it, the benefits of it, blah blah blah. So when I see people now in 2021 saying it's a negative formation, I'm like, what are you talking about? It's 4-3-3 with the defensive midfielders and attacking midfielder.
Yeah. Well,
Like, Jesus.
they look too much into formation before, man.
And that's another point. It's really 3-4-3 or 3-4, whatever. Like, it's not.
Yeah.
When we have the ball, we're controlling games. It's not 4-2-3-1.
Exactly.
No, it isn't.
It's more like 2-1-1, whatever else.
Yeah.
No, I
think,
agree. That's FIFA
again.
People put too much emphasis on it, and they don't understand the reason why. Even though the formations on paper are, the people will think they were the same or very similar, there are distinct differences between each one based on the roles of the players playing there, and they don't seem to understand it. So with the 4-2-3-1, people will say it's defensive because you have a double pivot, but the whole point is you're not supposed to have you're not supposed to have two central defensive midfielders, are you? That's not how that's not how most teams who play that formation play anyway. As Danny said before, you have like a specialist, whether it's a regista or whether it's an actual out-and-out defensive midfielder, and you have someone who complements them. The regista likes a ball-winning midfielder because normally they're quite immobile, but they pass really, really well, or they keep the ball well. But if you have someone who's a defensive midfielder outright, you want someone next to them that's a bit more creative. Like, it doesn't mean that it's a defensive formation at all. It's just it specializes in different areas of the pitch.
Oh, and by the way, all those teams had wingers. Apart from Real Madrid, who had one forward in Ronaldo, but he used to be a winger. The 4-2-3-1 is not really designed to have forwards there. That's why we're a bit like people ask, why doesn't it connect from back to front? It's the player profiles. It's 2021. If you want a team to play a distinct brand of football, the profile of player has to be correct in every position. You can't get away with it. It's either that or you impose your style of football on the players like LVG did, playing triangles, possession football, the midfielder Fellaini, Schneiderlin and Herrera. They don't make no sense. Why are you trying to play technical football with those three midfielders? So,
Fellaini.
Players that we used to have.
Fellaini, what a god. I sold.
Right. It seems like people in the comments want us to talk about the number one goalkeeper.
Dude, that's a weird situation right there. Like,
why is he keeping both of them? That doesn't make sense.
I tell you why.
Why are we keeping all three?
Brian, it's very simple.
4 now. We have 4.
I don't know. I don't know. It's 5.
You know
I'm going to mute because my dog's going mental.
The problem is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer inherited De Gea's wages. Otherwise, he'd be gone. That's what it is. This is wages. That's why he's still here.
Yeah.
I personally think in about 3 years, none of these guys will be the number one goalkeeper. I'm not going to lie to you.
Maybe, yeah.
I can see Henderson flopping. And Henderson flopping isn't an excuse to keep De Gea either. Like some people try to make it.
Yeah.
Like they can both go.
Yeah, I can see
They can
that.
both go and buy Stegen or someone. But I actually don't I've got no loyalty to De Gea or Henderson. Like none.
I just don't understand why he's keeping. I don't want to say he's keeping both of them, but why are you going to rotate both of them? And realistically, when you have a keeper, you have your one definitive keeper, and then when you play against Luton or something, you bring in a second keeper. You bring in a keeper. You bring in 2 keepers who have the same, I don't want to say same level of standard, but who are really good keepers. You're keeping one on the bench, and then you're playing one, and then you're rotating them. I feel like that's just a waste of time. Like, just sort of.
No, I think the situation's going to evolve. Henderson's going to get the number one.
Oh yeah,
he is.
I saw reports today that were saying Henderson starting the season as Ollie's number 1, and I was like,
Yeah, I saw that report a month ago. It just pops up again.
As he should.
But it's like, what's the point of Henderson being there if you're not going to give it to him?
right.
Yeah, exactly. That's why. That's why. Like, you're not going to keep him from. I mean, he could go anywhere. He could go anywhere in the Premier League if you wanted to. But if you're going to bring him back, the only reason he came back was because he was guaranteed that he would at least have a shot at it, like a good shot at it.
Mm.
Yeah, I think
But
if
the
a big
fact, oh, go ahead.
go on, Ryan. Go on.
Oh
Go
no,
on,
I was just saying. I was just going to say that it was Heaton's reports the other day that his quotes just saying, "I came here to fight for the number one," and I was like, okay, cool. So we're keeping all three, which again, I'm all a fan of competition, and I'm again I think about teams holistically, but I mean De Gea and I love David De Gea for all that he's done for Manchester United, but I mean I think his time's up. And and I'm not saying that he's not good enough to play for the club anymore. I'm just saying he's not the De Gea of old. And he's not the De Gea of old anymore. But I also am not necessarily super sold on Henderson. And again, I don't want somebody in that position that we're going to have to wait to try to grow and become something when we could just have something better right now. But I don't know.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think if someone puts a bid in for De Gea, he's gone. I think Man United accepts it in Gene Henderson. So, but no one's going to buy De Gea. So,
well, let's be honest. He should have gone when LVG first came here, right?
Yeah.
We lost the paperwork. Like he should have left. I mean, everything was pointing towards it. LVG dropped him. Like he should have been gone. He should have been gone then. So, credit to David De Gea for keeping it professional and giving his all for the club, with a club that he clearly has not wanted to be at, but he's given his all for. So, but I mean, it's kind of like the Romero situation. How like last season we wouldn't sell him, we just wouldn't let him go. He wanted to go, we weren't going to use him, we just wouldn't let him go. Just strange. Like
that
Manchester
on ridiculous
United
wages as well, right? Like he's on like 350k, isn't he?
He's
stupid like that. That's a lot of money for a goalkeeper to be on and to not play him. I'm not gonna lie. It's it's ridiculous if I'm being honest with you. He shouldn't be here.
Manchester United are so weird with selling players. It's so strange to me. Like I just get rid of them. And I get it, and maybe some of it is because I say some of it. A lot of it is because of how much we pay players. We pay players too much. That when they're trash, and we can't use them anymore, no one can afford them. So I mean, Danny's right. That's the situation we're in with De Gea. De Gea is not trash by any stretch, but we can't get rid of him even if we wanted to because we paid him way too much money. When he played himself back into that contract. Like De Gea of old's back, signed him up, gave him a ton of money, and then he started dropping stinkers.
Yeah. He can't go anywhere. I don't see one club where he can go. There's not one club. They've all got keepers. They're all sorted.
PSG
the clubs
have
that
two.
PSG have two. The clubs that can afford him are all sorted. They've all got keepers. So go to MLS or something.
I'll call Fred and stick him in the gulag.
Yeah.
Can't we just trade him with what's his name? Oblak.
He's from there as well. He's from Atletico, so
yeah, he just goes back home, sort of thing.
Exactly, yeah, with his wife.
Yeah, because I imagine he wants to go back to Spain, right? I'm just thinking of the Spanish teams that would be a good choice for him, but they do have like Atletico Madrid have one of the best goalkeepers in the world, so
yeah, he's the best. I mean.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to do one last thing before we end this stream. We're going to go through our players and we're going to create a starting 11. What we're going to do, we're going to do it assuming that Pogba leaves, because I think he's going, to be honest with you personally. We'll do it without Pogba. What formation would you guys like to do? Let me just put it up on the screen.
4-3-3.
4-3-3. I imagine that the default. Right, so wait. We're gonna go with what? Henderson as the keeper, I imagine. Is that your first choice?
I would, yeah.
Or there's also Tom Heaton.
Tom Heaton, give it Tom. No? Okay, cool.
No, we'll go Henderson for now. But Tom Heaton is a close second, right?
He was a close second. He was a close second.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to assume that we're going to sign Trippier, Varane, and Sancho because those seem to be the ones that are very, very likely. So who would you put at right back? Trippier, AWB, or Brandon Williams?
AWB.
Oh, you. Okay.
I say
So Bryant goes AWB. Vita?
Oh, I would say Trippier. Just better developed right back
Okay.
at this moment.
I'm not having this.
All right. Danny,
I love
what you
Aaron.
what you thinking?
That's fair.
Well, you know how much I love AWB.
What?
I'm not. My voice doesn't matter.
What?
No, we'll put it to we'll put it to a vote. We'll put it to a vote. So Danny gets the final say because I'm going to pick Trippier. So Danny, Trippier or AWB?
You know what? Trippier's
gonna
not a Man
pick-
United player, so I'm going with AWB.
Yeah.
I did say assuming that we sign him, but sure, okay.
All right, then Trippier. I changed my mind. Trippier.
Ah.
I was just messing with Bryant there. I was just messing with him. It was always going to be Trippier.
I love Aaron. I love Aaron, but if you got a better full right back of it developed, just put him in. Don't stress it. Just put him in.
Is he better though?
Oh, my heart.
So starting centre back partnership, Lindelof and Bailly next season. Yes, no.
I think so. I think
Absolutely.
Lindelof and Phil Jones.
Lindelof and Phil Jones. I forgot he was at this club. Phil Jones.
Yeah, he's the genetic experiment. That's all he is.
Phil Jones and Eric Bailly, yeah, they'd get injured in the same match. Could you imagine that?
Oh, I lose it.
Wow.
I lose my mind.
You know what it is? They tackle each other. That's how it happens.
Oh, yeah, Smalling and Phil Jones both got injured in training like that, didn't they? I think
Yeah.
they injured each other in training once and they were both out. So we'll go with Varane and Maguire, I'm going to assume. Unless someone has another centre back partnership they think would work.
I
I'm
mean,
assuming it's this.
I
think
would
we're
share,
gonna
but y'all don't listen to me.
Brian, go on, express yourself. Tell us.
No, Brandon Maguire. Why would we not?
Yeah, at this point, I hope people just be honest and realize Maguire's better than Bailly. That is clear at this
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maguire just needed a season to. He changed my mind. He needed a season to pull himself to his actual quality center.
Yeah.
So, Danny, you want Tellez at left back?
I'm thinking Brandon
No.
Williams. I don't know what talent.
Not only do I not want Tellez, I wouldn't mind selling him and getting a better left back because he's not very good on the ball. So,
What
yeah,
about Brandon Williams? Quality.
nah, he needs to go.
He
on
needs
loan.
a loan. Yeah.
I don't rate him. I'm not going to lie.
But didn't you see that training? Didn't you see that video of him in training?
Yeah,
Like,
he's a
come on,
hard
Danny.
nut. He's a hard nut.
Oh, Brian. Forever an optimist, I swear.
And who was he tackling? Was he tackling Ghana? It's not like he was tackling Pogba.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, but what if he? I mean, I bet he could. No, he could. Anyway,
You know what? We'll skip the midfield for now. We'll go for the front three. Who would you guys like in your front three? We'll start off the left.
Rashford.
Rashford.
Rashford. Vita, who are you picking?
Rashford. I'm thinking, do we want to stick Martial in the wing? No. So it's just Rashford, really. I think the front three really picks itself if you think about it. I feel like it picks itself.
Yeah, Martial can sit wide left on the bench.
Oh, I'm dead. Right, we'll put this one in. Bless Rashford. All right, who's your striker?
Cavani.
Cavani.
Cavani. Greenwood's not ready yet.
I was saying Greenwood Shelton number 9. I was like, already.
Yeah, he's still got a bit to learn. We might see a few more games of him playing there, to be fair, this season. But
Yeah.
I would like to see.
I don't think he's going to be starting.
People need to be patient.
Greenwood's not ready yet. He'll get there, but he's not ready.
Like, think about it. Rooney played as a second striker for the first 3/4 of his, or the first half of his career. And he said it took him really all of that time to learn how to play up front by himself.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And not everyone's Pep and Tuchel playing with a false nine. So,
I feel like next season,
Yeah.
if you give him like Caribou games up front, I feel like he would be all right. He would do decent in my opinion. Give him a couple of games, but when it obviously gets to like the semi and finals, just switch him out. But I think starting to get him in the striking position we could have a gem on our hands.
Do you know what you will see? I'm gonna make this prediction now. You'll see Sancho on the left, Greenwood on the right, and Rashford is a centre forward, and they'll interchange.
Yeah.
You know what, Danny? And I sat down on the space once, and a lot of people was like, that probably. But then I was also hearing I was also hearing Martial and was it Sancho as well on that link up.
Martial's finished out here. People need to let it go.
Yeah, Martial sitting wide left on the bench. That's where it's going.
And I feel like, but so you would say we almost play. I don't want to say a false nine with Rashford up front because we know how he is a striker, but so almost like a false nine position where Rashford drops back as Saka striker, like that. Is what you're trying to say? Okay, I don't.
I
think
mean,
Ali-
I would.
don't
You know,
think Ali
I would even take. I mean, this is in the sense. Obviously, this is the idea in the event that Paul Pogba was leaving. We're assuming that Paul Pogba was leaving, but I mean, I just want Martial nowhere near the number 9. I would take Bruno there as a false 9 ahead of him. I really would.
Yeah, you know what? I wonder if Ollie will ever experiment with that.
I
Would
bet
be
he will.
interesting. I think the only way
He
you
will.
do that though is if you're playing like a diamond, and
Yeah.
Bruno's at the tip of it, and then you have 2 strikers who will drift wide, or like not strikers, but the 2 players that are supposed to play up front will drift wide quite often, and Bruno will sort of take up the false 9 role. I can imagine that happening, but I don't know. It's just got to see what happens really with all these little options. But midfield. So we're assuming Pogba is leaving. I don't know if you guys want to assume that we get a central midfielder because
Nope.
No.
if Pogba's going to leave,
If
I
Pogba
imagine-
leaves, we're getting a central midfielder. This is not Man United of 2015.
See,
We're definitely getting a central
Yeah, it
midfielder.
looks like it. Looks like
It looks-
It does look like we're going to get somebody
the
that
reports
probably
did
doesn't
say that.
move the
I just-
needle.
By the way,
Though.
if Pogba
I
and
don't trust
Lingard leave, would like put
I
him on
don't trust.
movie.
I don't trust United to get the right. If you can pick up any central defensive midfielder, but are you going to pick up the right one who fits this system? That's kind of my take in it. Like I would rather them take an extra year for Ali to go through the categories and be like, these are the people that fit your system best. Which one do you want? And we will negotiate. Rather than just being like this summer, that looks like a last resort, like a transfer day. I mean, last transfer day signing.
Yeah, we don't want that.
Like, I'll just rather be like, look, if you can get those 3 and you can sort out your midfield or like play the system now where you don't really necessarily go through your midfield, I'm okay with that in my sense, but don't go out and rush in midfield because midfield is your engine room. You mess up your midfield, you might as well just go and relegate yourself, in my opinion.
Somebody say engine room. Fred's going in there. Be careful. Watch.
all right, I got a question then. Supposing we get Trippier, Varane. Obviously, I think we're going to get Sancho anyway because that's basically done. And we sell Paul Pogba. That means we guarantee to get any central defensive midfielder that we want, for example, because he'll be like 70 to 80 million euros apparently. Vote which central midfielder or defensive midfielder, whatever. Vote which player that you want in there, and then you can pick 2 Man United players to play with them. So, who wants to go first? Who wants to pick their the central midfielder? We'll vote on it. Naj, you go first.
Well, I want to say Rice, but I've got this this player who plays at Marseille. I think he's unbelievable. I think he would slot right in. Kamara player. I don't know if you've seen him. He's 20 million euros. Like it's a steal. He's got 1 year left on his contract. He's young, French. He's very, very good. Like DM, like very, very, very good. I'd go for him. But there's that Premier League experience and that. How is he going to adapt? So I'd go for Rice. Yeah.
All right, Naj goes for Rice. Vita, what do you think? Would you want Rice or would you want someone else? Forget about the price for a second, by the way. I'm talking about just terms of what player you'd want in there.
If I'm going with Premier League experience as well, because I was saying Diddy. I've always liked the way Diddy looks, and Diddy or I know he's Liverpool, but Fabinho.
And we're not getting him.
I know
Come
we're
on
not
now.
getting him, but I know we're not getting him, but Fabinho as well. For me, I feel like in any midfield, as much as I hate Liverpool, they definitely did a correct deal with that one. and Diddy or Fabinho is my 2 picks for me.
Okay.
Great point.
No, is it? Okay. Danny, who would be your pick if money's not an option? If we managed to negotiate fees down or we had unlimited funds, which we basically do anyway.
If we have
Who would you
unlimited funds, we should rebuild the midfield completely and get Tuchemani and Declan Rice. That's what we should be looking at.
Who's that?
Oh,
Tchouaméni?
Tchouaméni.
Yeah,
That's
Tuchemani,
one.
he's better than the boy from Marseille.
Oh yeah.
That boy, generational talent, honestly.
Where does he play? Which club?
Monaco.
Oh yeah.
I thought Chelsea were interested in him. I
Yeah,
thought they were
yeah, I saw that.
going.
I
I've
Yeah.
seen a
hate
little
Chelsea.
bit of him. His defense.
I pray Chelsea don't get him.
He's
already-
United's gonna get him. That's me. United.
Like, take it for what it's worth. But I did a little analysis statistically of him of like basically just defensive duels and interceptions in the defensive third. And I did
Yeah,
21 midfielders. So we're talking Saul, we're talking Kante, we're talking Busquets, we're talking Kimmich, we're talking Jorginho, we're talking Casemiro. They're all in there.
Yeah.
And he's in the top 5, actually top 4 for every defensive category compared to all these players.
And I bet he's very young now. He's a young kid, no?
Yeah, he's young. I think he's like 19.
Oh wow. Okay. Does he play on his own?
21. He's 21. Sorry, he's 21.
21. Yeah, that's
Still a
young.
good age, to be fair.
Yeah.
Okay, so you want Tchouaméni and you want Rice, providing we sell Pogba and Lingard.
Yes,
That's
another
what
thing with Tchouaméni is when you compare him to Idris Gueye, or however you pronounce that guy's name, like he's doing better than him in Liga 1. Whenever I don't watch the league, I just look at same thing with Sancho before I started watching German football. Is he doing better than Gnabry? He is. He's obviously a good player. Like it's just common sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Okay, how do you spell? We'll put Rice in here.
TCH, and he should pop up straight away. He's the only guy. Yeah, he is.
Tchouaméni. Okay, so Tchouaméni, Rice. I don't think we'll get Tchouaméni, but we'll play to Danny's fantasy right now.
I'll slap him McTominay or Van de Beek.
So you don't want Bruno playing?
Oh shit!
Look at what you've done, Danny. Look at what
Look
you've
at
done.
what you did. Fantasy over. It's now a nightmare.
So Van de Beek staying in prison. We can't free him.
Oh, you guys can vote. Who do you guys want in that midfield?
I'd
Well,
go.
Bruno.
I can't believe you're just remaking the midfield. This is a team that doesn't buy midfielders, but you're just remaking it.
That's the thing. If it were me, if it were me, and I mean, if it had to be 3 midfielders that we had, this is so hard because the nonsense part of me wants to put Fred in there, but I'm not.
I tell you
But,
what, let's
I
do
mean-
something amusing. Right, forget
Uh-huh.
Rice, forget Tchouaméni. Let's go with the midfielders that we have now. I'll even give you a chance. Paul Pogba will be here. Assuming that the midfield stays exactly the same, who would you play with these players? Let's make it easier, because otherwise Danny's just going to redo the entire midfield, and we might just end
I
up with There's no point.
That's so hard because our midfield is so imbalanced. Every time I want to say
it's not that hard.
a name, every time I want to say a name,
You know what? In this system, I wouldn't play Bruno. I'd play Fred, McTominay, and Pogba.
Okay.
Okay.
So Pogba on the left, Fred in the middle, McTominay on the right.
see, I was going to go McTominay, Van de Beek, Pogba. That's the 3 that I would want.
Van de Beek.
He's like Pogba will run really hard, like 2 every 5 games, and we'll win those matches.
Yeah, for me, the 3 would be Van de Beek, Pogba, McTominay. You can interchange Pogba or Bruno.
So this is what you guys want, yeah?
Yeah, I could rock with this.
McFred lives. It's timeless.
No, in this system, it makes sense.
It does.
If you're playing a flat 3, you want 2 runners,
Yeah.
Oh, this is where you do it up here.
and in that system, I prefer Pogba to Bruno.
Yeah, no, I understand that completely. So if you were to replace Pogba with any midfielder in this system, say, because apparently Ollie wants to play 4-3-3, right? That's the rumor. He wants to play the 4-3-3. So Pogba, if he leaves, which player do you put in there for Pogba?
I would put Bruno there.
It should be Van de Beek, but he hasn't.
I was thinking Van de Beek, but I'm like, if you think about
It should be Van de Beek, but
it's
I like goals.
You know what it is, Brian? He has to prove it to me.
Yeah,
So I mean, getting through
yeah.
now.
I like goals. Bruno's got to be in there.
Okay, well, if Bruno's in there, that means we still if Pogba's leaving, that means we've got a space for a midfielder. So would you replace Fred or McTominay?
Oh God.
Are we doing good?
I'm just trying to put you into Ollie's situation.
Van de Beek.
Yeah.
Right. You're gonna replace Fred, right?
don't play. I would replace Fred if I had to over McTominay. Yeah.
Who are we replacing Fred with? What just happened?
No, get Van de Beek in for McTominay.
Wait. Okay. So Van de Beek for McTominay, and then Fred's replaced with a new midfielder. Is this what you're saying?
Yeah, put in Ghana.
Ooh.
I would love
I've
to
heard
see
really
James
good
Gunn,
things
actually.
about him. Aw.
Look at him.
So are you saying that we don't need to buy a central midfielder? Is that what you're saying?
We're
What do
Man
you guys
United.
think? Is that title winning?
It's not that we don't need one. It's that we won't get one. No, we will.
Yeah.
We will get one. I just don't know who.
Oh, Boss Man's here. I think he's tilted. Hey, Indiana. Is he?
Did the kids finally set you free, Indiana?
Yeah, something like that. Something like that.
You're right.
You know,
Yeah, I just know what's going to happen.
Mm.
I already know what it's going to be. Here's what's going to happen, and nobody's going to like this. But if we don't sign a DM and Pogba leaves, it will be Van de Beek on the left, Bruno on the right of a three, and it'll be Scott McTominay holding.
see,
That's
and that's
what
what I don't. That's what I don't
Yeah.
want. I don't want
That's
McTominay
what we-
holding.
If you're
So
gonna
you
have
think it's-
McTominay Hill, you might
yes.
as well put Garner there. I'm sorry. If you're gonna have McTominay Hill, just put Garner.
Is Ghana going back on loan though?
That's what I was gonna ask, but I'm like,
What I've heard
Well,
is it
Scott
depends
McTominay
on how he
interesting.
does in preseason.
okay.
I've
heard that
it'll be Scott
it depends.
McTominay. That's what will happen, and it'll be Van de Beek and Fred will be rotating. That's what will happen if we don't sign a DM.
I think he'll be back to McFred and Bruno.
I was thinking McFred and Bruno. I was thinking that, and then just Ollie just try his hardest to not play
Yeah.
Bruno.
I mean, if Fred wins, we all win, right?
Really
No,
needs to
that's-
stop.
I beg to
Is that
differ.
is that just me?
I don't.
Fred,
Without a DM, I don't see a 4-3-3.
Yeah.
I don't see him doing it.
I see a 4-2-3 more than a 4-3-3 in this case, because
Well, no. Well, this is the thing. Ollie said that he wants to play a 4-3-3 apparently this season. That's why that's why I put this one up. I'm trying to work out who he'd want to play.
Will he play Matic?
I
don't
don't.
know.
I don't think so.
I
He
would
will
love-
play Bruno. He will
Yeah.
play Bruno. Bruno
Yeah,
plays. He's the guarantee.
It's going to be McFred.
I feel sick.
Like,
He is,
Well, this
though.
just highlights it. If Pogba leaves, we still need to buy. We need to buy a central defensive midfielder,
Yeah,
regardless
definitely.
of whether he was leaving.
Yeah.
What about the Neves links? What's people's thoughts on Neves?
I mean,
haven't
Neves
seen
get.
We can
I-
do better.
I mean, Neves gives us. I mean, he's a passer in that deeper role that I don't think that really exists. Just players who naturally play there in the team, so he would definitely give us a different dimension. But we can do better than Ruben Neves. That's my only thing. I like Ruben Neves, but we can do better than him, especially if we're. I mean, we've been linked to. I mean, I would rather Camavinga than Ruben Neves.
But why? Why would you prefer Camavinga when he's so young and we don't really know what position he's going to settle into, or how good he is in the Premier League, for example? Because he's only 18. Remember, I think he'd be
That's
more of a
true,
future.
yeah.
He'd be an option for the future.
He is. You're right. I don't know. I like I think from my perspective, whenever I look at Ruben Neves, I see a screener and a passer in that deeper role. But I personally want someone more well-rounded. And I know, earlier I made the thing about AWBs. Not everybody can be a complete player, right? But and I stick by that. But I want a more complete midfielder to come into the club. Like that's the one area that I want somebody who has a bit of everything, instead of having players who have bits of some things and then trying to piece them together. This is why we're in that mess now. Like Fred has a bit of something, McTominay has a bit of something, Matic has a bit of something, and we just plug the three based on what we think we might get. And it's just not. I don't want that.
That's the problem.
It doesn't really necessarily answer your question. I think ultimately in Camavinga, ultimately in Camavinga, I think I see a bit more of like multiple qualities opposed to like a handful here and there.
Camavinga would be the Pogba replacement.
Yeah.
That wouldn't be the DM.
What about Saul Niguez? Is he a DM? I saw a lot of links. No.
He's not a DM. He's not.
He's box to box.
He's not.
He can play the DM, but he's going to be around like 70 mil.
Yeah, I've seen lots of serious links to him.
To be fair, I watched Saul Niguez when he was first linked with us a few years back, and he was like, he's very versatile. To be fair to him, like I've seen him play. I've even seen him play left back when Atletico Madrid had an injury crisis at their left back position. Saul Niguez was playing there. He actually performed quite well.
He's a talented.
He's played box to box. He's played further forward. He has played.
Well.
Yeah, exactly. He's a decent goal scorer. So he's quite versatile.
That's the thing right now, because that's my thing is like today what are the reports? The reports are that Manchester United is coming out that Manchester United were at one point seriously considering making a bid for Declan Rice, but after being priced out of it by West Ham, they're looking for quote unquote more affordable and suitable replacement. Like that to me doesn't scream moving the needle.
That's
so
just
like
and
of course it's just a rumor, and you can read into it or not to whatever degree. I don't think I guess I've been so inundated in this midfield kind of conversation that the only players that I think will improve our team I can admit my short-sightedness on this, like the only players that I think in my mind right now that can improve our teams are the likes of like a Declan Rice, or like players that we know are going to be way too much money and we're not going to spend it. And I can't think of any suitable replacements lower price that could come in and improve our midfield.
That's who we should.
Yeah, like I would have taken Højbjerg. Yeah, it's like I can't think of anybody who's lower price that we could even be linked to right now that I wouldn't be like, I don't know.
Yeah, there are talented players around Europe. I remember there was a space, I think it was like a month ago when we spoke about it. But the only problem is that the talent around Europe, they're young, and regardless of what you think about the Premier League versus the Bundesliga, for example, there is a settling period, and not every player settles into the Premier League. It's just a fact. It's just the way it is.
Yeah.
So
like I would take
especially young ones.
I would take No House or something like that, but I just don't. I don't think. I don't know.
Certain people want Van de Beek to play in the DM.
Let me not speak.
Rachel wants Van de Beek in the DM.
I will remove you.
No, Rachel, you do though. You've been working on a little PowerPoint thing, right?
Don't do Rachel like that.
DM for Rachel is don't mention it. That's what
It's just pain. That's all
I don't see the 4-3-3 unless Ollie's going to put faith in Matic, and then you still it makes no sense either to have Scott McTominay or Fred. But you might as well just allow Bruno to push forwards and stay with the 4-2-3-1.
Yeah. What do you guys think about now we've got Varane, and can we just play Scott McTominay there?
Where?
We've got in the DM in front of shielding.
No.
No,
I
Yeah.
think
I think that's the
McTominay-
idea. I think that's the idea. Like they
Yeah,
can both.
that's what I was saying. I think that's what they're going to try.
Yeah,
I just feel like Scott McTominay's best asset is his engine.
Yeah, I just can't. When you tell McTominay, unless Varane is gonna push like in an attack, he pushes forward in that like defensive like CDM role. I
yeah,
just can't see McTominay sitting in any sense. Like he's best as a box to box.
yeah.
When
That's
McTominay
true.
has that freelance role to go forward, you see a whole nother McTominay that people's like, what is this? You tell McTominay sit, and it's like, what? It just doesn't work. Like McTominay and CDM is just automatic no
But
for me.
yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't
but
see it.
that makes me think of a spaniel. Like he goes forward all excited, but loses. Looking at the balls is flying through the air, but once it hits the ground, he's lost track of it, and then he's sniffing around for it for a little bit. Like I don't really want to see him doing that. I think we've got much more talented players than Scott McTominay to do that.
I also don't trust
Yeah.
Scott McTominay's link up play in that third
Yeah,
of the pitch either.
his link up is not.
That's a bigger thing for me. I've seen him do it for 2 years now. He can't.
Not only that, McTominay in midfield, can you trust him to be disciplined? In that
No,
but he has improved his discipline.
he has,
McTominay.
Yeah.
But you're right, on the ball, he isn't good enough. I agree. He isn't good enough at all.
yeah, you need push control.
But McTominay is he's a goal threat. I'd rather him as a runner than a sitter. I'd rather him be running like box to box than, because I think he offers more in that area of the pitch than he does at DM.
Yeah, but he is a centre back as well. So
Winston's got a question. Yes, why isn't anyone talking about Bissouma?
Oh yeah, I
Because he's
forgot about him.
not a Man
I
United
just
player.
really forgot.
I forgot about Bissouma. Remember when he was going to Arsenal and then he wasn't because Locatelli was going to Arsenal, now Locatelli's going to Juventus. I remember those days.
I'm telling you, I'm still waiting for Arsenal to free Danny Drinkwater from Chelsea jail, man. I'm still waiting for it to happen. Last day of the
Right.
season, I can see it.
still at Chelsea. Wow.
You know,
Yeah.
I
Isn't
actually,
he
I didn't know that either.
under 23s?
yeah, we're not linked to Bissouma. I like Bissouma.
No.
You know what?
No,
I kind of wouldn't. I wouldn't be shocked if United do something like that, dude.
Yeah.
If we get like, say we got a Varane done, Trippier's done, which looks like the Wolves gonna do it. They have to Rasky summer. I wouldn't be surprised if we sell Pogba and get Bissouma. I wouldn't be surprised if that happens.
Yeah, I
We're
don't
gonna-
want Bissouma as a CDM though. I
That's
don't.
the
He's an
issue.
8. He's an 8 in my opinion, and I think
feel
his
like we
best
have-
attributes are as an 8.
We have too many 8s at our club, and I
There's
don't
not-
think.
Yeah,
United
that's why I don't speak about Bissouma like that. I've seen it with linked with
Yeah.
him, and I'm just like, I get the hype that he's very talented, but he's not what we need right now.
Yeah.
I've
We'll get
heard people
we'll
mention
get Danny
Calvin
Ings on a
Phillips.
free and put him back there.
Oh no.
Calvin, yeah. Oh, well, that was inevitable after the Euros, wasn't it?
Yeah.
The whole Calvin
Sorry,
Phillips thing. What do you
No,
guys
yeah.
want Calvin Phillips? Would you be happy with that signing?
Honestly, I would. Like as a cheaper, serviceable option. I mean, Calvin Phillips has done really well for Leeds over the past few seasons. Like it'd be a huge step up for him. But I thought he performed well. Like considering in a more pragmatic system under Southgate, especially in the Euros, I thought he did well.
Yeah.
And I mean, like again, but for me, like I would take Calvin Phillips, but he would probably be more expensive than Ruben Neves because he's English.
I want to know you, Rich. Would you take him?
I've always sort of had my heart set on getting Declan Rice.
Rachel, we're not
Yeah, but-
getting him. Let it go.
So
It's not
no matter
happening.
what we
You can't
get,
Declan Rice.
unless it's like Kimmich or someone like that, I'm going to be devastated either way. No, I'm not going to be devastated, but I'm going to be a little bit sad.
If you can't
Rachel,
get Rice,
we're not getting him.
Declan Rice.
Then I'm never gonna be
that
happy.
price tag. He's not moving.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he's not. No, he's not going to go anywhere for 100 more. Hey, Alex. I don't know who I want. To be honest with you, I'm not going to lie to you. I don't know. I'm just here riding the wave.
That's where I'm at. I don't
It's not
know if
Defensive
anybody that we sign I would be like excited about.
Defensive
many
midfielders
DMs.
is one of those you just sit back and just whatever happens at this point.
Mm.
Because you pinpoint one, it's like, can you get on? No, it's all outpriced or too young. It's just one of the two.
I just have a feeling it's Scott McTominay.
Yeah, me too.
If it's got
I-
McTominay, I'll cry. I'll probably cry.
You think
man.
about games when
see
he
that.
tried to like lock it up. He would throw Scott McTominay in there,
Mm.
or even sometimes when he tried to go for it, it would be Scott McTominay in that. It's just weird. It was just weird. It just seems like he's trying to push him into that position,
Yeah.
and I don't think Scott McTominay is ever going to be good enough. I think he's always going to be a squad utility player. He can fill in at centre back if you need him to. You can have him box to box if you need him to. Put him in the DM if you need him to. But he's not ever going to be at the level for me, in my opinion. Because what is he, 25?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
To be that player, that key figure. That's a very disciplined role. A single pivot
Yeah.
at DM is a very disciplined role. You have to be highly intelligent, I think, if it's going to be about counter-attacking football. But then it could be that it's about giving Varane or Maguire the license to drive forward and someone sits in.
Yeah, they can play from the back. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, we'll see.
What
I agree.
category?
We're gonna sign Danny Ings on a free and put him back there.
Oh, Danny Ings.
And Mings.
You should imagine we have
Mings,
Ings.
and all them
Ings
things.
and Mings.
Ings and Mings and all the things.
Mhm.
Also, I think Meridian, he says Ings, Mings, and chicken wings. So that's his one. But guys, we have been going for an hour and a half. Thank you to everyone that's been watching. Thank you to the panelists that have come on. I'm gonna quickly go through everyone. Yeah, Deanna just popping in. But let everyone know where they can find you. So we start with you, Vita. Let everyone know
You
the
can
Twitter
find-
handles and whatnot.
You can find me. I'm usually on Twitter. You can find me at King Vita with 3 G's on Twitter. You can always find me in a space.
She's queen of spaces, not gonna lie. Danny, are you still here? Just chilling, not eating?
He's still eating.
He's still eating.
Probably
Okay.
eating.
Wow.
He always smacks.
Yeah, you can see his Twitter handle there. He does have his own channel as well, so check that out as well. Devil in the Details channel. Brian, let everyone know where they can find you.
Yeah, I like to hang around football Twitter. My handle's on there at BK1708. I lurk around in spaces, but normally they're spaces of rivals because I need to get laughs some days. So come listen with me.
Naj, let everyone know where they can find you.
I don't even know my Twitter, so it's okay. They'll find me.
Yeah,
doesn't
you know
want
what?
to be
I'll just tag you in it.
Yeah.
You know,
that's
after
cool.
the-
We'll
after
tweet
the-
it. We'll tweet it out.
Yeah, we'll tweet it out. And we'll definitely be seeing him again. This isn't the last time you will see him. I've decided already. And obviously, Indiana, boss man, leader of the first XI.
I
wanna-
don't know about that, but yeah, you know where you can find me. Just find me on the Twitter handle, and on the Football Terrace. Make sure you keep checking out the Football Terrace as well, people.
Yeah, absolutely. And everyone knows where they can find me as well. So cheers everyone for coming on. And tomorrow, Grounded Chelsea. If you're a Chelsea fan in the chat, Grounded Chelsea, hosted by Will. There may be a face reveal. I'm not holding my breath, but we will see about that. And Grounded Arsenal will be starting on Thursday, just before the offside rule. So that's a new podcast. Hope you guys can tune into that as well. Take care, everyone.
Bring the
Bye.
banter.
Bye bye.
Bye.